Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of Juked by Daylight. I am of course Mike and I am joined with my good friend and brother from another mother, Mitchell. How we doing, Mitch?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. I'm excited. We have some good stuff for today.
We got some beefy stuff to crack on with today. We've got a little bit of drama and news, so I will kick us off with that. We'll then head into our character spotlight as always, which this week is Jake. Obviously the Shrine of Secrets we cover every week. We've got another DBD guide for you and of course our favourite streamer of the week. So with the drama and news, what we're realistically looking at is future updates for DBD and their roadmap. So this can be found on the Steam account for Dead by Daylight under developer updates. I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to pull out a few highlights for you guys that I think are worth mentioning. So first on the list is blood web improvements. So accordingly, within the first few months, DBD behavior will be making improvements to the blood web to make it easier and faster to spend your blood points than ever before. This has been left open to a lot of speculation and rumor, but from what I've seen online, a lot of the fog whisperers are sort of alluding to the fact that there might be an auto spend feature. And I think that potentially would go active once you've unlocked all the perks, potentially, for your killer or survivor, and then I think you can just auto spend and enter in an allocated amount of blood points that you wish to use for that particular killer, which I think would be quite good actually. I mean, I'm going through a bit of a spending spree on Trapper right now, so I'm trying to prepare Trapper for an unbeaten streak that I'm going to try on stream, using certain strategy on a certain map, and I need Midwich map offerings to do so. And it's taking me an absolute age to manually spend 1 million to 2 million blood points every time on him when all I want to do is just go through the web as quickly as possible to pick up those items. So I think that would be very good. I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that at all, Mitchell, but I think that would be quite a good update, to be honest.
Yeah, like I kind of need to see it in how it is, you know.
Yeah,
like,
it's very vague right now. That they haven't really alluded to how.
Like I need a vision with it, you know, like
how it would actually work in practice. Yeah. Okay.
Like if it actually works well, and like you can just select like a road you wanna take, right? Like you click it and then it goes there entirely or something. Like that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I fully agree.
Like I've been spending a lot of blood points on all my killers, so you know.
Yeah, auto spend would be really good if they can fine tune it a certain way that maybe you could prioritize certain add-ons or something. Like if you pick the ones that you want the most for that killer, maybe, or if you're a survivor and you wanted, maybe if you wanted like flashlights more than medkits as a survivor, you could be like, okay, auto spend 1 million on Dwight. Set preference to flashlight and flashlight add-ons over medkits or something. I don't know if that would be really complicated for them to do. I'm not really sure, but something like that I think would be really unique, because then you can auto spend, take a few seconds rather than taking 10-15 minutes manually clicking through. So yeah, I think I agree. Depending on how they do it, that could be quite a good time-saving aspect, especially with now that you can get blood points for basically just turning the game on. I'm pretty sure when I look at DBD on my desktop, I'm pretty sure I earn blood points.
Like it's also really helpful, like especially now with that you get like blood points through your ranking at the end of the month, right? Like every reset. Like I get like most of the time I get like 2 million blood points. So like
yeah, exactly.
Like
so
it's insane.
It's absolutely insane. So that'll be very interesting to see how they manage to do that. But yeah, it'll be interesting development for the future of DBD blood point spending. There's a couple of other points that they've outlined in their roadmap, which we'll cover really quickly. So they've got a survivor bot loadouts. So the first version of bots in custom matches was fairly simple, but it looks like Behavior and DBD will be expanding on the feature shortly with loadouts, allowing you to introduce more variety in the survivor bots you face. So I think that's basically you're going to be able to pick their builds. So if you want them to be running dead hard so you can practice against dead hards and things of that nature, you will be able to do that, I believe. But it does say, there is a caveat, please note that not all perks will be available to bots. So some perks will ultimately be too complicated for them to use effectively. And we'd hate to make them too smart and be the cause of the robot uprising, which is kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know whether dead hard would be too difficult for them to use, to program them, because they'd have to time that. So whether that means they're just going to get like things like, I don't know, windows and perks like that to help them loop. And I really don't know. I don't know what would be complicated for a bot to follow in regards of survivor perks. But yeah, interesting that we'll be able to increase the difficulty, I guess.
I honestly don't know. Like, I think they should like definitely increase the difficulty. Like the bots now are just a joke. I think honestly.
All they do is teabag. They teabag and hide.
But like they run like to the outsides of the map and stuff like that as well. And then I'm like, bro, like what? This is not how you go into a game. Like maybe when you start, then people do that. But like if you got a couple 100 hours in the game, people don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they're not really replicating how real humans would play, so it's kind of a bit of a meh. I mean, it's not too bad. I've done it a few times with Huntress to try and practice hatchets, which is kind of fun because they're like live targets, but it still doesn't mimic. It doesn't mimic a real game. So unless you're trying to get better with Deathslinger or Huntress, or maybe even Trickster, I really don't think that it's a good mode because they just don't do things that human players would do. I mean, I tried the condemned Sadako build on them first before I went into a live game, and they weren't picking each other up. So I had like 3 games in a row against bots where they were all slugged by like 4 gens, and I was like, oh, this isn't working. So yeah, they're very, very dumb. So maybe even if just giving them like something like Prove Thyself so they can do gens a little bit quicker together, that might add a bit more pressure, but it's not going to make like looping any better, I don't think. So it'd be interesting to see what perks that they can and can't use. And I mean, if you gave them all head on, you'd probably want to shoot yourself because they'd just all be hiding in lockers, wouldn't they? Trying to stun you for the whole game. So I don't know. You'd probably want to avoid certain things like that. But
real life hide and seek.
Real life hide and seek, yeah. So I'm not sure about that, but it'll be interesting if they can make the bots a little bit harder, or even if they just introduce like a difficulty setting. You know?
Yeah, that would be good as well.
Yeah, or maybe you could have like different varying levels to try and replicate MMR. So like you could have like, I don't know, a David at hard difficulty, but then have like a mega easy, Feng at normal, and Dwight at normal, and then you've got a bit more of a balance. So you've got one player that's better than the others. That would probably replicate the game a little bit better, I think.
I think that's a pretty good, solid idea as well.
But the next point that they've got on here is map repeat prevention. So variety is the spice of life, and Dead by Daylight is no exception. With so many maps in the game, it can feel a little underwhelming when the entity decides to send you to the groaning storehouse for the 6th time today. Even if it's your favourite map, eventually you'll want a breath of fresh air. Soon, Behavior will introduce a new mechanic which guarantees that you won't be sent to the same map twice in a row. The odds of being sent to the same map will also be decreased, yet still possible for the next few matches. Okay. I like what they're doing there. The idea is good. But I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna work though. Because map offerings are still a thing.
Yeah, and then you've got the fact that you'll have 4 survivors and 1 killer who potentially might have all played on a separate map in the game before. So you're really going to limit yourself to the maps.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to end up removing 5 maps from the rotation immediately, potentially.
Just imagine, right? Like the chances of everybody going to the groaning storehouse, right? That's going to be a really high number for like the odds, right? But just imagine everybody got that map just the game before, and then somebody is like, "Well, that's a really good survivor map, so let's go there again." And they bring the map offering again.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the
Like
map offering would counter that, right? It would counter the...
even though the Groaning Storehouse is, I think, one of the Macmillan maps, right? So then
Yeah.
Macmillan has like multiple maps, and like the map offering is a Macmillan map offering. So
Yeah, that's true.
maybe then maybe this is kind of a nerf then in a way for like map offerings, maybe.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah. I mean, what would happen if, say, again, I'll bring up the fact that I'm going to be trying to do an unbeaten streak with Trapper. I'm going to be taking them to Midwich each time. So if this changes in effect, I'm assuming the map offering will trump the repetition prevention, right? So I bought Midwich. Sure. It should take me to Midwich regardless of the fact that I've been there 2 games ago or something, So that should really override it, I'm assuming. Because otherwise map offerings won't be a thing, will they? That will just completely alienate the point of bringing them.
Yeah, but like Midwich is like a map offering, and it's like only one map, right? But like Macmillan has like what, four different maps or something?
Yeah,
5?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say. I mean, all of these roadmap pieces that we're going through today are very, very vague. So it's just like an idea that they've got, and then there doesn't seem to be much meat on the bone, so to speak. They're not really elaborating.
I'm kind of intrigued by this. I wanna know more.
Yeah, I need to know more. Yeah, this is actually annoying me more than making me excited, because I'm like, how are you going to do these things? So I guess we'll find out as it goes on. But the next one's kind of interesting as well, but again, very fucking vague. So it's a little bit annoying. But there's the next segment is called a visual terror radius. So this past year, Behaviour have been working hard to make Dead by Daylight more accessible to a wider audience. For those who are deaf or hard of hearing, the terror radius can be difficult or even impossible to keep track of, despite being a crucial part of the game. To remedy this, they're going to be introducing new accessibility options, which will enable and will provide a visual representation of the terror radius. So I can't remember which content creator was talking about this. I think it might have been Coconut RTS, but basically saying, like, shooting games, when you get shot, you get a visual indicator of where that bullet's coming from, as well as the audio cue as to where it's coming from. So it looks like it's going to be like that. So if you're creeping up on somebody, but you've obviously got a terror radius, you're not a stealth killer, they're going to get a visual representation of where the killer's coming from. I don't know if I like that. I can understand why they're doing it, for obviously people who are deaf or hard of hearing, but I don't think I like that for everybody else.
So, in a way, the survivors will get premonition base kit.
Yeah, it's a buff. Yeah, they're buffing survivors again, because you'll then know exactly which direction the killer's coming from. Rather than just hearing the terror radius and being like, shit, they're getting close. I'm assuming this visual representation for deaf and hard of hearing people is going to actually really tell you which direction they're coming from. Even if it's vague, that's massive. Like, that is massive. That happens a lot with, like... I mean, how is that going to work in Chase? Because if you're behind, like, a TL and you're trying to guess where the killer's going, if you've got a visual representation of their terror radius, that's going to fuck up mind games, surely. Because a lot of it is hiding the red stain, and that's going to be a thing of the past.
Like, I am all for like making the game easier for deaf or like hard hearing people, right?
Of course, yeah.
But like people who aren't deaf or like hard hearing are gonna use this as well then.
Yeah,
because they just get like more info for free.
Yeah, I mean the only way around it would be to prove, I guess, like if you had to go through some sort of step with Behaviour in Dead by Daylight to prove that you are deaf or hard of hearing. But then if you're just hard of hearing, I don't know if you'd have like a medical piece of information to prove that. Do you know what I mean? So like obviously deaf people will be registered as deaf and technically disabled, I guess. So they would have proof of this. But yeah, for anyone that's able-eared or, you know, able to hear properly, this is going to be huge because they're also going to get a visual indicator. So for things like looping and stuff as well, as I was saying, if you're hiding behind a wall, the mind games are going to be fucked because could possibly be telling you which way the killer's moving, and therefore hiding the red stain, which is part of the mind game at the moment, won't really be a thing anymore because you'll just get a visual cue as to where their terror radius is, I'm assuming. Unless it's very vague and it just gives you a generic, they're in front of you, then I guess mind games might be a little bit safe, but I don't know. Just from the limited piece of information they've given there, it sounds like a fucking ball ache, and I feel like could be a potential massive buff to survivors.
Yeah, like the vibe I'm getting from this is the same vibe I got from the new IU in the game. For survivors.
Yeah, it's another buff.
And I don't like that either.
No, it seems like another buff, so I'm not sure, but yeah. Alright, we'll just have to see, I guess. With a lot of these, we'll have to take them with a pinch of salt and see how they turn out, but yeah. So there's a visual update as well coming, and I believe this refers to the perks. The Realm Beyond continues. DBD and Behavior are in the process of visually updating one of their older realms. Oh, okay, so it looks like a map then, potentially. By now, you probably know what to expect, so Behavior will save the teasers for when this update is a little closer. There aren't many realms left to update, so we should have a pretty good chance of guessing which realm is being updated. So this looks like they're going to do a map update. I think it was Coconut RTS I saw covering this, and I think he believes it's going to be Crota's Pen Asylum. He believes it's that realm that's getting an update. And apparently there's a bug or something on the stairs or something where you hit like an invisible wall or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not really sure, but he's a lot more experienced in the game than I am. And if he believes that's the one getting an update, then I guess so. There should be others though, right? They haven't updated all the maps and that, have they?
No, they haven't updated all the maps, and I think like they already did something about them. But that's the map from the nurse.
Yeah.
And they already changed that map from the nurse.
Yeah, I thought they did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they touched that.
I'm not sure. Like if it's one they haven't touched yet, I would say it's one of the Auto Heaven maps or something.
Ah, okay. So watch this space then, I guess. It'll be interesting to see. It's always good though it's always good when they do an update though, I find, because they're normally more visually appealing as well once they've updated the realm.
That's for sure. Just look at Haddonfield. Like the new map looks really good. Like it's a horrible map, but like
I hate it.
It looks really good.
But it looks great. It looks great. Yeah. So at least it looks pretty. While I hate it and curse it out because I fucking hate that map. I hate that map for both Survivor and Killer. By the way. That's one map where I'm neutral on both sides. I just don't like it. Like Area Crows, we like it as Survivor, but we hate it as Killer. It's like
I hate it as Killer, but as Survivor, I know it's really strong. So I like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting better on that map as Survivor, but I still don't like it. I still really don't like it from either side. So it'll be interesting to see what they update, though. Again, these are all very vague topics that they've teased us with. So. Yeah, that's kind of it. But the last one on there is perk updates, which I think is probably open for a little bit of discussion. They've put a lot of focus on general improvements and quality of life features as of late, but they're pleased to say that perk balancing is going to pick back up shortly. Before, they're hoping to include a small package of perk changes, so they're updating perks again, with each mid-chapter update going forward. They're going to share more details of these perk changes closer to release, but since they know what we're about to ask, one of the perks that they're looking into changing rhymes with schmeruption, which of course they're talking about eruption, which most of the Survivor-based community are moaning about with the whole kick gen meta that is being picked up by killers. So it looks like from that, we can gather that they're going to nerf Eruption again. Well, not again, but they're going to nerf another killer perk. So
another gen defense perk.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, not to say that DBD or Behavior are Survivor-sided, but just on the last 10 minutes of talking about these changes, have you seen anything that's in favor of killer? Because I have not.
Nope.
No, it's all
The
Survivor.
funny thing is, I was editing this morning.
Okay.
I was creating some clips of my own,
Nice.
and one of my games I made a clip out of.
Okay.
Where I was I got a title. So if survivors pick these loadouts, why can't the killer get some gen defense going?
Yeah.
I was running Lightborn because they had 3 flashlights. I
Yeah.
had Calf Brine, Eruption, and Scorch Hook. I
Okay.
literally throughout the entire game I kicked one generator 3 times and that's it. I got one Scorch Hook because it's RNG based.
Yeah.
And like I killed 2 of them. I got a draw with Raid.
Nice.
At the end of the game I got flamed because one of the survivors said I was using 4 gen defense perks, even though I only had 3 because Lightborn isn't a gen defense perk, guys. Let's be honest here. And I was checking out their perks. They had on average 3 second chance perks, Mike. On average.
Nice.
Throughout 4 survivors. Like, bro. And they had like really good strong flashlights, really good strong medkit as well. Like they were in there to win it. Like they went full out. But that's the thing. A lot of the survivors, they are complaining about the gen defense that killers bring into the match, but if they don't know yet, it's the kind of the job for the killers to defend those gens and get kills.
Yeah.
So like it's the same that they bring all the meta stuff. They bring the generous perks, they bring all the second chance perks there are in the game into the match with really good items, map offering, like all the good stuff for the survivors, right? To get like the most out of their game and like the biggest chance of surviving.
Yeah.
Like it's and then they still complain about it, and then I'm like, dude, like I know it's oppressive, I know it can be annoying, but it's counterable. Like
exactly. Yeah.
If you play in a Swift, Eruption is not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Because of the communications you have.
Yeah.
It's only working against solos really well. But other than that, it's still situational. Like you need to kick the gen. If you don't kick a gen in time, it's not gonna do anything.
It's just the whole comedy of moaning about bringing perks into the game.
It's ridiculous.
Like, we have our perks as killer, you have your perks as survivor, you're going to bring what you want to bring, and if someone's brought, 4 of the best perks instead of a meme build, then so fucking what? Like, that's the whole point of the game. You bring your build in, if you're memeing around, then there's a good chance that you're going to lose, whether you're killer or survivor, and that's just how it is. If you're going to bring 4 of the strongest perks, then you're probably going to increase your chances of winning on either side. But you can't moan about it because there's perks on both sides which are bullshit. As a killer, I hate Dead Hard. And as a survivor, I hate, fucking Pain Resonance, Dead Man Switch combos. But it is what it is. I won't moan about it. Like, I might mention it in game when I'm streaming or something and be like, oh, okay, Pain Res, great, and then that's it. I shut the fuck up and I crack on with the game. Like, there's no point.
Yeah, exactly. But that's like a heat of the moment thing.
Yeah,
so
you just
like,
go,
everybody has that
like,
in the heat of the moment. But then like a lot of people take it out of the game, take it like into the end game chat or taking it to like somebody's profile or whatsoever,
Yeah.
But like that's just too far. Like perks are a part of the game. Everybody can use whatever they want, but like if they like it how it comes over to me, it's like, well, okay, so the survivors can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But if you don't wanna have like those problems as killer, you just need to get like troll builds in and like meme builds and all that kind of stuff, and then you're fine. Like you can take anything that helps you in the game. Otherwise, you will get flamed before it. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, or just bring Noed, you know.
Yeah, or something like that.
But yeah, so I don't know, these updates don't look very good for killers. They look very survivor-sided. Shock. But there we go. That's the roadmap that they've got so far for Year 7, and they've got a new killer, a new survivor coming into the game in March. But we don't have information yet as to whether they're going to be licensed, unlicensed. I'm assuming by the fact that the last killer and survivor were unlicensed, that these ones are probably going to be licensed, but I don't know. That trend could change. That doesn't necessarily...
Yeah, maybe it's going to be the first time they break their...
break their cycle, right? And bring in original killer and survivor. Yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, so that's March, so that's probably the next big thing amongst the perk changes. But we should probably move on to something even more survivor-sided. That's our character spotlight, I think, this week, Mitchell, right?
Yeah, that's going to be Jake Park. So let's jump right into his lore. And let's start off with that. So that's going to be growing up, the son of a wealthy CEO was always going to put pressure on Jake Park. When his brother graduated with honors from jail, the pressure on Jake intensified. Jake just wasn't the academic type, but his father never really understood his refusal to embrace the expensive education he lavished upon him. Eventually, Jake rebelled by dropping out of school entirely. Now Jake lives off the grid on the edge of the woods. It's been years since he spoke to his father, but his mother checks in once in a while. It was she who eventually called the police. The cops said he got lost in the woods, and the search party looked for days, but gave up as bad weather rolled in. Despite passionate pleas from his mother, they never resumed the search, and Jake went down in history as another casualty of the woods. Jake's destiny was set even inside his mother's womb. Heir to wealth, noble manners, and caretakers of the family reputation and legacy. During torture, it's not pain that breaks a man, it's immense pressure, and Jake couldn't handle any more pressure. Instead, he sought the opposite of fine dining and mates. He left the grid and ended up with a forced as closed neighbor. A self-made outsider, Jake understands nature. He's not there to tame something, rather him becoming feral. Remove the brutal killers that seek out blood to drain, and Jake would feel just at home. No Wi-Fi, no fortune, 500 companions, no father or mother. Years away from modern life has given Jake a new feel for problems. Pain is just an obstacle that hinders you from getting fed. No matter what is hunting you, you need to stay one step ahead. Struggle, blend in, adapt. Just don't make it easy for others to erase you from the Earth's surface.
Nice. Not bad lore, to be fair. I mean, it's kind of short.
Yeah,
which is
it's longer than the ones we had before, but it's like it's actually a good story this time. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, there's no like hidden chainsaws or anything that they've thrown in.
Yeah, at the end, like they're just escaping from a room where he's stuck in. You know, like.
Yeah, but basic story short, he's born rich and he goes to live off in the woods. That's kind of like, they could probably summarized it a little bit quicker than the 2 paragraphs, but it's still shorter than most of the laws in DBD, right?
Yeah, it's I like it. It's a solid one. It actually has a solid story for it as well.
And what perks has he got?
Yeah, as all characters, obviously, he has 3 personal perks. One of them being Iron Will. Reduces the volume of grunts of pain while in the injured state by 25, 50, and 75%. Iron Will cannot be used when suffering from exhaustion, but does not cause the exhaustion status effect. So I would say, like, obviously it's nerfed from what it was before, but like if you don't run exhaustion perks, I think this is still a pretty decent perk. Like it can make you pretty close to being silent. So just because of that, I would say this is like a 6 still.
Okay.
Before it was definitely like a 10. Like you were literally silent, so you know.
Especially with like quick and quiet head on, right? Because you just go in the locker. And they might not even know you're there because you're dead silent, right? Yeah, it's crazy. I used to love that.
Yeah, it was one of my my go-to perks before they nerfed it. And now I don't touch it anymore. But
no, I don't either.
That's because I run an exhaustion perk. But if you don't run an exhaustion perk, it's pretty decent still. So. Nice. Then we have Calm Spirit. Prevents crows from being alerted by your proximity and flying off unless they are being stepped on. Suppresses the urge to scream from any cause at all times. So it's a counter of Doctor. Suppresses all noises related to unlocking chests, cleansing, or blessing totems. Reduce their interaction speed by 40, 35, and 30%.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't think this is a good perk at all. Like I think this is really bad. Maybe they should look into this and like maybe change it up a little bit.
Unless doctors were like as common as nurses and blights, then maybe this would be like a meta perk, right?
Yeah, then this is like the go-to perk, but like that's not the case. So like I would say this is like a 3 out of 10. Like it's not great. Like you kind of don't want to use this perk at all.
Yeah, I think I agree with both your scores so far. Actually, I got nothing to add to this bullshit perk.
Yeah, like it's so weird. And then we have Saboteur, one of my favorite perks from back in the day because there was no cooldown on this. But now they have a cooldown. For the duration of the killer carrying another survivor, you can see the aura of every hook within 56 meters of the pickup location. The auras of regular hooks are revealed to you in white. The auras of scorch hooks are revealed to you in yellow. You can sabo without a toolbox. And that's gonna take 2.5 seconds. And there's a cooldown on it from 90 to 75 to 60 seconds. Honestly, I think this is pretty decent perk still. Even though there's a cooldown on it, it's pretty decent, especially because it got buffed. And you can see scorch hooks in a different color now. So like you can get some info out of it, and you can like make sure that the killer doesn't get like scorch hook value in a way.
True.
Like if you're like the saboteur of the team. So I would say this is also a 6 out of 10. 6, like it's still decent. Like it's not gonna be up there. Like it's not gonna be one of the meta perks, right? Like but it's still a decent perk, and like you don't need any other perk to actually make this work, you know?
Yeah, I think I agree with the 6, and I would just add on to that. It's like it takes up a perk slot, which you could just have something else and run a toolbox, right? You know, just to really get a similar effect. So, yeah, I think 6 out of 10 is fair because this perk can technically be replaced by an item, which would then free up a perk slot. So, I think based on that, it's a 6. If toolboxes didn't do saboteur actions, then I'd probably say this is probably a 7. But because,
like, this is not going to run out, the toolbox is, though.
Yeah, true, but I mean, with the cooldown, and you've got to be in the right position as well to really pull it off. Unless you're just going to randomly run around subbing hooks all game, you're probably only going to use it about the same as you would like one of the better toolboxes, you know, with all the add-ons. So you're probably going to use it about the same, right?
Yeah, maybe
four, 5, 6 times in a game, probably max. Unless you're like running as a Swift and your whole game plan is to sabo and bully the killer, then you'll probably want the perk over the toolbox. Or run both. I guess you could run both, and then you've got like unlimited sabos pretty much if you're going to be that arsehole. But yeah, you know, I've done that a few times. But yeah, no, I think I agree with the score though. 6 out of 10. Yeah, you've got a bit of aura reading as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's actually helpful. Like it gives you info of like, oh wait, he has that perk, so he has a scorch.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like it helps you out a little bit as well. That's honestly pretty decent.
Well, talking of perks, I guess that leads us into our next segment, which we do every week, which is our Shrine of Secrets.
That's correct, Mike.
And as you've got the guide coming up, I'll cover these. I'll take your load today with this one. Probably wrong choice of words. So the first one we've got is Dying Light, which is a Michael Myers perk. You become obsessed with one survivor, and each time you hook a survivor other than your obsession, you gain a token. For as long as the obsession is alive, all other survivors suffer from a stackable up to 3% penalty to repairing, healing, and sabotaging speeds per token, and it's up to a maximum of 33% or 11 tokens. The obsession is unaffected by this penalty and instead is granted a permanent 33% action speed bonus to unhooking and healing other survivors. You can only be obsessed with one survivor at one time, of course. Do you know what? I've always thought this perk sucked. And yeah, I mean, they've changed it recently, right? There was a different change to this, wasn't there? Because didn't this have... You actually had a percentage for healing, right? Not healing, sorry. Was it gens, or am I wrong? Did these used to affect gens for the obsession? Or is it just the...
I am not sure, actually. I think...
I swear this used to...
yeah, I think they had like a...
yeah, it did.
A buffer for like the gens, right?
I think it did, yeah. Your obsession's altruistic action speed was increased to 50 before. So they have changed it, and they've specified what now the obsession can and can't have an increase on. So, yeah, I mean, it's okay. If I'm a killer, I'm never running this unless I'm doing the Adept for Michael Myers, which I'm still yet to fucking do, actually. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's such a small penalty, and then it goes up to 33%, but that means you've got to have 11 tokens. I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 10. Because it's just, there's so many other perks that do this but better, you know? And it's never going to be a meta perk. You very rarely see it. If I do see it, it's on a killer that's got like not a lot of hours. So I think they see that there's a penalty involved and they just chuck it on, hoping that it's going to help without really knowing what it does. And the fact that it's based on hooking people that aren't the obsession, I don't know. It's just very weird. I think it's a really weird perk.
Yeah, like I'm calculating as well right now, because you get like 1 token for every hook you get on like your non-obsession, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be 9 in total.
Yeah, so I don't know why it says 11 tokens, because that's...
But like,
that's
maybe like the only thing you can get 11 tokens is someone has decisive.
Well, you got Nemesis, I guess. And you make the obsession switch, right?
Yeah, or Nemesis, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's pretty trash, right? Because you're never going to get that 33% then. And
like, I think this like just to throw it in, like Thanatophobia is really bad, but like I think this is even worse than Thanatophobia right now. If I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, looking at that, like, to get that 33%, so say for instance you do run another perk or someone's got Decisive Strike and you can get 11 tokens. By the time you've got them tokens, I'm assuming most of the gens are done already. So having a 33% penalty to repairing gens that aren't there anymore is complete bullshit. So then you're only really affecting healing. Most people run fucking adrenaline. So yeah, this perk's countered already by the meta perks that are run by survivors. And you're not going to get 33%. So the most you're probably going to get is what, like 9%? You get 3 hooks that aren't the survivor. 9% penalty to repairing. That's fucking trash. You could run so many other things. So many other things. And then other perks that you don't have to work for. Like, you have to hook someone for this to get a token. Like, fuck off. That's fucking terrible. What if you have a really bad start against a really good team? They could do 3 gens before you've got that hook. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is such a terrible perk. So I think I'm being generous with the 2. I'm even inclined now to drop it to a 1, but what are you scoring this?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the 1. It's really bad.
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the worse it gets. I think I am gonna go down to a 1 as well, because that's it's disgusting actually how terrible this perk is. That's just shocking.
Like maybe in the lower MMR it can like do some damage, but maybe like in the mid tier, like too high MMR, it's not gonna do anything.
I tell you what, if you're gonna play against the bots, take Dying Light. There you go. That's my piece of advice. Dying Light will work against the bots. That's it. If you're playing public matches or ranked matches as they're called, don't fucking bring that perk. Just throw it in the bin. Let's do the other killer perk while we're here. Let's cover the killer ones first. So the next one on the list is Hubris, which belongs to the newest killer, the Knight. And basically this is quite a straightforward one. Whenever you are stunned by a survivor, that survivor suffers from the exposed status effect for up to 20 seconds. And it has a cooldown of also 20 seconds. Quite straightforward. Not a bad idea. I don't think 20 seconds is enough, because basically you'll only really see this with people running Spirit Fury and Enduring, because that's the only way you're going to get value out of this. Because the 20 seconds realistically for any other scenario, pallet drop, stun with a flashlight, flashbang, 20 seconds ain't enough. The survivor's going to have to hugely fuck up for you to catch up in that 20 seconds without running those 2 other perks. So for the fact that it requires 2 other perks to really work, and we always judge perks off of and rate them off of the fact that they're solo perks on their own. If you ran this one perk on its own, what would the rating be? I think this is going to fall into the low end category. I think I want to give it a 3 out of 10 just to be generous. But on its own, without those other perks, it's fucking shocking. With those other perks, it could probably be like a good 6 out of 10, I think. But what do you think, Mitchell? What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I honestly like just by itself, it's interesting. Like it's like a high risk, high reward perk, right? If you use it by itself. So like it kind of depends on the RNG you get, like in the loops and stuff like that. Like if maybe you have some TLs, you know, and then like a pallet, like you can still get them in time if you don't break the pallet instantly, right? Like. If it's like a mind gameable loop or something like that, like you can get some decent value out of it still.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing the Knight Adept, and like then obviously I have this perk on, and then like I had some value out of it. Funny enough, so like I know it can do something. But it's depending on the loops as well, right? Like that you have in the game. Like if it's a really safe loop, it's not gonna work. But if you do have a decent loop, and it's not just by a pallet or something, right? You can also get head-on stunned, and they still get exposed by this.
Everything. Yeah, flashlights, flashbangs, pallet stuns, blast mine, I think as well.
So like then like. I would say a 5 out of 10. Like I think it's still decent. It's not gonna be like game breaking or something, but like if you use it with like what you already said, like the Spirit Fury Enduring, it's definitely gonna be like a 7, maybe even an 8.
Yeah.
Because of like the nice energy they give with each other, you know? Like it's they really work well together.
I have tried it once with Spirit Fury Enduring, and I found that I wasn't getting value because I was actually injuring the survivor before they stunned me in most scenarios. So them being exposed made no fucking difference because I was getting the second hit, Spirit Fury Enduring, and then being exposed really meant absolutely nothing. So again, even with those perks, it's not that strong because I got nothing from it. But I'm sure there would be games where you'd get stunned and you'd already have Spirit Fury maybe boiled up. Like maybe on the game or something where you're breaking pallets constantly, then you'd probably have a lot more fun with this perk because the survivor won't already be injured. So you could probably save time. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky one. But yeah, I think I'll stick with the 3. I understand why you gave it 5. And I think if you add Spirit Fury Enduring, I'd probably boost it to a 6. So I think that'll be my final thoughts on that. We got 2 survivor perks, as always, with the shrine as well. So the first one is Up the Ante, which is an ace perk. And basically for every survivor still in the trial, you get a token. And each token applies a stackable 3% bonus at tier 3 to luck, which nobody knows what luck really does, apart from helps you get off hooks, potentially. Apart from that, no one has a clue. And this applies to all survivors up to a maximum of 9%. So obviously, that's the most amount of tokens you can have. And it increases everybody's luck. So, I really want to say like 1 out of 10, to be honest. Just off the back of no one really fucking understand what luck is. It's basically self-unhooking, right? And nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know. Hang on. Dead by Daylight fandom actually has a thing for luck. Right, what does this do? Luck only affects the survivor's self-unhook chances. Okay, so that's literally it then. It no longer affects bear traps, and it doesn't have anything to do with rarity of items found in chest. It's literally just for self-unhooking. All right, fuck this perk. That's a 1 out of 10. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I totally agree on that. It's so bad, dude.
God, that's terrible. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. I'm literally just going to go to the next survivor perk because that's fucking awful. This shrine is trash, by the way, this week.
Like
Holy
there's
shit.
literally not really
Holy shit.
strong perks in it.
And to top it off, we've got Potential Energy, which is a Vittorio perk, one of the newest survivors in the game. After repairing generators for a total of 8 uninterrupted seconds, if you press the active ability button on your keyboard and mouse or on your controller, you get to activate Potential Energy. This continuing to repair the generator will charge Potential Energy instead of progressing the current generator you're on. It converts 1.5% of repair progress into 1. I can't say this with a straight face, by the way. It converts 1.5% of repair progress into a token, up to a maximum of 20 tokens. And if you miss a skill check, you lose your token. While Potential Energy has at least 1 token, if you press the active ability button again while repairing a gen, you can instantly progress it by 1% per token, consuming all remaining tokens and deactivating Potential Energy. Potential Energy also loses all tokens and deactivates upon losing a health state. Fuck off. Just fuck off with this shit. This is like the most convoluted way of saying you might be able to break a 3-gen if you use this perk. That's the only scenario you're really going to want to use this perk in. Apart from that, you're not going to want to touch it with a barge pole. 1% per token is trash. That's only 20%. Bring fucking Prove Thyself. Grow up. Don't use this perk. This perk is awful. You lose tokens left, right, and center. You miss a skill check, you lose a token. You get injured, you lose tokens. Like, you lose all tokens when you get injured, by the way, not just 1. So this is another awful perk. Like, holy shit. I don't even want to give it a 1. To be honest, but I guess we have to. So I guess I go 1. Unless you've got some crazy, insane scenario or information that I'm clearly missing here for me to boost this score up, I think I'm giving it a 1 out of 10. What are you saying?
Okay, so I got some really important information of this perk.
All right, hit me.
This perk helps killers.
Ah, nice. I see what you're doing.
One of the survivor perks that actually helps killers. Like,
I see what you're doing.
Losing progress on generators by using this perk. Like, normally you would you get like what 30% of a gen, but instead you get 20% stacked up, and then if you get injured, you lose everything. So you kind of did nothing on a gen for like a good amount of time, and then you didn't get anything out of it either way, but getting injured. So like this perk is the most balanced perk out of all the gens perks the survivors have.
Oh my god, you're right. You're right. As a killer main, I want to now give it a 10 out of 10. I recommend everyone run it, especially when you're playing against me. Even though you won't know you're playing against me, run it all the time. Don't prove
yourself anymore. Just use this perk.
Yeah, use this. Potential energy is OP. You should use it all the time, and killers will hate you for using this. I promise. Please, everyone, use this perk. Yeah, fuck this perk. Okay, yeah. Holy shit.
it's really bad.
God's sake. Even really reading it, I was laughing while I was reading it, and I don't think I've ever laughed so hard reading a perk description as I have with this one. Like, honestly. It's like,
yeah, I the only thing I can actually say is that I need to agree with the one, like, it's really bad.
And I'm not being funny, right?
Don't change it, behavior. Don't change it.
DBD and behavior have such a obsession with like tokens now. Have you noticed? Like a lot of perks are coming out. It's like, oh, get a token for this or get a token for that, and it's like, fucking hell. What are we at the fairground? Like, going to use 20 tokens on the ride?
That's not only the thing. Like, they also have a lot with gens. It's not only tokens. It's also a lot of gens stuff.
Yeah.
Like like a lot of new perks is all about gens. That's kind of scaring me, you know.
I mean, I think Vittorio got a bad run really because, I mean, all of his perks are quite lackluster. To be honest, they're all pretty shit.
The Fogwise is pretty decent actually.
Yeah, Fogwise, but what's the other one he's got? It's just absolute trash. Is it the Gen Speed one, or is that Fogwise?
No, Fogwise is the
Quick Gambit. Quick Gambit.
Yeah, Quick Gambit, and that's the one where you, if you get chased in like the area of a gen, the people that are working on the gen get a buff.
It's funny because I can't remember who it was, but I was actually having a discussion with somebody in my chat about a month ago about this, and they were saying how much they like it. I would just like to redirect them and anybody else who thinks it's a good perk to the recent Octodava video, because he tried to make this a good perk or find a use for it, and the video is fucking hilarious because it's trash. So I would literally recommend anyone go to watch that. That's quite a funny video that covers Quick Gambit. But yeah, apart from Fogwise, he's got like 2 terrible perks. So, but yeah, so that concludes our Shrine of Secrets, or in this case this week, the Shrine of Shit. I think Mitchell's going to pick our spirits up with a guide. I think you've got a good guide this week, right?
Oh yeah, I have a special guide for those survivor mains.
Oh yeah,
I just know they love this, you know. So we are gonna start up with our face camping tutorial, and before we begin, you need to prepare yourself, okay? So we need to make sure we get a few things to ensure maximum efficiency while using these techniques. First, you obviously need to get Boa. Of course, you could face camp as any killer in the game, but who does it better than the basement god himself? So that makes a lot of sense to get Boa. Then we have some perks. One of them is situational, like you don't need to, like it depends on what kind of items they bring. The first one is going to be Noed. Hex, no one escapes that. It's an almost essential perk to use, not only for its comedic value, but also to aid in getting another kill in the end game if you're lucky. The second perk, and that's the optional one, is going to be Lightborn, just to counter those survivors that have a flashlight or maybe a flashbang or firecracker, you know, like they can't save their friends or teammates in general. Then we have obviously Agitation and Iron Grasp. to make sure you get them as far away as possible, maybe into the basement or just close enough to the basement, and then the gameplay, the start of the match. As soon as you spawn in, your first objective is to find your first victim. How long this takes will vary depending on map RNG and general map knowledge. Once you find a survivor, down them as quickly as possible, using your chainsaw or basic attack if you have to. Once you have downed them, pick them up safely, of course, and bring them to a hook of your choosing, preferably basement, but any hook will do, and hook the survivor. Bye-bye gaming. Congratulations, the hard part is done. Now all you need to do is stare into the eyes of the survivor until they are sacrificed or they disconnect. Or the off chance that their teammates do try to save them, using your chainsaw to down the rescuer and the freshly unhooked. Repeat progress until all survivors are dead or escape, but that's a bad thing. That's the end. Congratulations, you have reached peak killer gameplay. Now go out there and camp your heart out.
I have to mute myself during these guides because I'm laughing a lot. So like, if I'm dead silent, that's why, because I don't want to laugh over you talking. But all of these guides are just fucking hilarious. Like, especially the ones involving Bubba and Noed. Like, you just know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I was going through the Steam guides and I saw another one from Baba and I was like, nah, I think I got something like that before, so I needed to change it up, So I went on searching some more and then I found this one and I was like, yeah, this is the one. This is the one that a lot of survivors hate, so I'm gonna promote it.
I love it. Oh my god, so great. Well, we'll keep the guides coming each and every week until we run out of guides, but I think there's quite a lot, right? Steam's got
there's
a lot of
shit
stuff.
on, dude. Like there are so many guides, it's insane.
Because it's nice to have a little bit of levity after we've
that's
talked
the
about
fun part of it.
Awesome.
So that brings us to the streamer of the week.
Ooh, nice. Who have we got this week?
This week we have A Way to Real TV.
Oh, okay.
Really nice guy, really chill. He has a schedule from Monday to Friday, but it's like he pops up. So there's no straight up time where he comes online, where he starts streaming. It's like during the day somewhere, It's gonna be Central Standard Time.
Nice.
So make sure that to just go there, drop a follow. You will get a notification when he goes live. So, or just check out his socials. Also, the links on there on his Twitch profile. It's just a really nice guy. Like, he's really wholesome. He plays like all kinds of games, not just Dead by Daylight. He's funny enough, he's live right now. He's playing Minecraft right now. So like, he plays a lot of different games. And also, if you have a game that you recommend, you can just recommend something in his chat and he will look into it. And if he likes it, he will play it as well. Like, he's really open-minded for it. So just make sure to drop by, show some love. It doesn't hurt to check him out, right?
Nice. Yeah. I mean, we say the same thing because we basically recommend nice, wholesome, entertaining, streamers. So we kind of said the same thing about everybody. I guess we're running out of adjectives to describe how nice these people are. But yeah, it's the whole point is we're not going to share with you someone who's, a dickhead or boring. They're all entertaining streamers that we're trying to share with the community. But I feel like we say the same thing about everybody, right? They're always nice. They're always wholesome.
Yeah, it's mostly the same. But yeah, that what you already said. Like we we are not gonna shout out somebody who is really shit, who doesn't like his community, who's a terrible human being and stuff like that. Like we are out here to show some love to those who show love to other people's. Like it's to yeah to get the community closer together and like get one big community in general, right? Like to have some nice things out there.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're wondering what that massive crash was, if you actually heard that, that was my cat Steve trying to jump onto my computer desk, not realizing that my box for my new microphone was there, and completely fell off like a cartoon character. And it's fucking hilarious. So if you did catch that, that's what that was. But yeah, I don't know why she suddenly turned into a cartoon character. But that was fucking hilarious. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. I had to mute myself. Oh my god. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for this episode then. I think we've covered everything that we had for you guys. Did you have anything else, Mitchell?
The only thing I have for you guys is I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.
Awesome. Good. Stay groovy, bitches. Peace.